Hello, this is Ahad and Charity. For our family and community class, we have done this cultural assessment. Why they were chosen was because of the ethnic diversity. The couple's individual backgrounds are so rich that the clinicians wanted to determine what kind of culture the couple would identify themselves with. And also for the simple fact that it was very convenient to get a hold of them. They live in Collegedale, and one of the clinicians actually knew them while they lived in Kenya, and they had kept in contact since then. And as I had mentioned earlier, the clinicians were unsure of what ethnic background the couple would identify, and so we found them to be the perfect target for the study.
Meeting the family. The newlywed couple are C and M Malabalaba. M is a 26-year-old male entrepreneur graphic designer, and C is a 23-year-old female stay-at-home wife and business partner. M was born in Zimbabwe to a Zimbabwean father and South African mother, raised in Kenya, Tanzania, and Sudan. His mother died when he was 5, and his father got remarried when he was 10 to a Caucasian American who has been raised in Africa for most of her life. His father passed away when he was 13, and his stepmother is still living. C was born in Florida, within the United States of America, to an African American father, whom she does not know, and a young Caucasian mother who gave her up for adoption when she was still a baby. C was adopted by her Caucasian parents, her father, who was raised in East Africa, and her mother, who was raised in Australia. She's lived in Kenya, Malawi, Tanzania, and Burundi, and has never lived in the native country of her birth for more than 5 years. The internal part of our structural assessment included the family composition and sexual orientation, gender and ranking order, subsystems, and boundaries. Family composition and sexual orientation. The couple is a heterosexual married couple, where C is the wife and M is the husband. The couple do not have any other family members or friends living with them, but the couple does consider the Maxwellites, who are former high school mates of them, their family because of their shared cultural experience in Kenya. With gender, in their culture, males are considered more dominant than females. Males are the breadwinners and highly desired among families to carry on their lineage. Males' opinions are taken with high regard, disregarding birth order. Females are supposed to be homemakers and submissive wives. They're inferior to males and the caretakers of the ill. Subsystems and boundaries. This is a husband and wife subsystem, and the women are not to answer disrespectfully to their husbands. Husbands are to have the final word on decisions, and women decide healthcare regimens since they are responsible for all matters of health. This includes diet and cleanliness. Boundaries also include intimate displays of physical affection that are prohibited in public within this culture. Family issues cannot be discussed with external parties as well.
Under the structural assessment, we assess the external aspect. Extended families. C's family that presently reside in Tanzania. The families keep in contact via telephone, email, and Skype. They see each other about once a year. 3 of C's 7 siblings, they live in the United States, and they contact each other about once a week. And they see each other about 3 to 4 times a year. M's family that presently reside in South Africa, they keep in touch via telephone, Skype, and email, and they see each other about every other year. His only one sibling that lives in South Africa, she lives with her husband, and he speaks to her about every 3 months via telephone, email, and also Skype. Their larger system, the couple could not have an external system they contacted. They go to church, but they do not feel like they have a meaningful relationship with their church family. They seem to share experiences, develop meaningful relationship. They feel that they cannot relate to church families currently because they don't have an association with them.
Developmental assessment. This couple, under the family life cycles, was identified as stage 2 with their new marriage in joining of the families. Tasks of the couple incorporate their couple identity. The couple has to find their identity as a couple. Within their marriage, they have to identify who they are as individuals. C has identified that she's the wife and caretaker of all household affairs, and M is the husband and the breadwinner of the family. Together as a couple, they are finding the transition of being called a married couple Somewhat strange only because you have to get used to the idea of being identified as a unit rather than two separate individuals. Otherwise, they are enjoying the transition very well. Relationships with extended family have not been severed in any way. Both have found it easy to relate to the other's family because of their shared cultural experiences. C sees her extended or her in-laws at least once or twice every 2 years, and M sees her family more frequently because more of her family is here in the United States. Decisions on parenthood. A couple is not planning on having children for a couple of years, and because of this, their decisions on parenthood are currently ineffective. But they do share similar goals on parenting and religious views, and we feel that the couple will be successful in raising their children and hopefully will be successful in that transition. Attachments that the couple may have. In our article, in our paper, we identify this couple as a third culture couple. Third culture people or individuals are people who have been exposed to more than one culture outside of their parents' country of origin. These are people who find it difficult to identify with their own culture because of their diverse cultural experiences, so to speak. And because this couple has experienced this, it's easy for them to dissociate from one culture to the other because they're frequent moving. Because of this, they're also able to dissociate from their extended family units. So when they got married, it was not a difficult transition for them.
Under their activities of daily living, they are still in the transition state of getting used to living together. They were just married about 2 months. M, who is the main financial provider of the house, spends most of his time working on his computer from home, while C is content being the only one taking care of the house chores such as cooking and cleaning. But clinician did notice that they put an effort into being perceptive of each other's needs during the activities of daily living. Under the expressive, we had to assess their verbal, nonverbal, and also circular communication. And it was very easy to note that the wife, C, was the one that was more extrovert and had a stronger personality and able to vocalize herself easier than the husband, who is an introvert and more phlegmatic. And because of that, his communication skills or patterns were more of the quiet side, while she was more open and verbal. But both of them insisted on communicating together, and they both insisted that they have an open pathway between each other, so that if they ever run into problems, either marital problems, financial, or whatever the case might be, they would always resort to each other first and last before they ever seek any external source, if they ever seek any external source. Also, problem solving. It was quite interesting to find out that the husband was the one that is actually good at identifying the problem and then bringing it up to surface for the wife for the two of them to deal with. So it was a give and take for them to be able to work this relationship. In the roles department, they both understood each other's role in this marriage. They were both aware of the simple fact that it takes two to make a marriage work. He was the breadwinner, and she was content with being the one that would stay home and work. But they both respected each other's opinion and what they had to say or do or input to make this relationship work. While assessing the influence and power, we noticed that there was no power struggle between the husband and wife, even though they're really new at this marriage relationship. They both knew each other's part, and they both were under the understanding that it takes two to tango, in essence. Influence-wise, though, it was interesting to note that because the wife is more extrovert and because of a stronger personality, she had more of an influence over her husband, who was more of the phlegmatic personality. And that's not saying that he had no say or no influence in the relationship, but she had more say on what he did or said based on how she interacted with him. Under their belief section, their beliefs, or because their religion is so intertwined with their ADLs and how they perceive life, most of their beliefs are directed by their religious belief, and they are Seventh-day Adventists, and because of that, they strongly believe in living a healthy life, abstaining from alcohol and drugs, and staying away from any substances that are viewed as unclean in the Bible. And also, they were one of those that believed that they should follow the teachings of the Bible each day of the week and not just on the day that they worship. And that actually flows into the alliance and the coalition section, because when the coalitions asked them if there was a third party that helped them balance out their relationship, they always pointed out to God. And the example that the wife gave was that husband and wife viewed themselves as the base of the triangle, each of them in the same level respected one another, and on the top, or the apex of the triangle, was God, that they, both of them individually and as a family, looked up to for guidance. If the couple were to have some terminal illness that needed interventions as APN or clinicians, some of the things that we would consider during their care would be to make sure that the medical care that we have will be intertwined along with religious support for them, because that's part of their life, and actually it's a huge part of their belief. And also, we would stress to the couple that it would be very imperative and important for them to follow up on clinical appointments and go to the hospital whenever they are in need or required to, because both the couple are of the type that choose or would do anything as possible to avoid any hospital stay or visits. And also, we'd also encourage them to continue their lifestyles. They do adhere to a very healthy lifestyle, and would encourage them to keep it going on, to keep that lifestyle going on, so they can maintain a relatively productive and quality life. And the other last thing is just to be culturally sensitive for them. They come from a quite diverse variety, and just to be aware that they are different from us, that they are composed of a rich, diverse culture. Treatment difference from the traditional medical model for this couple would be the fact that we would be extra careful and sensitive about their need for religious care, religious support with their medical support. Yet also another aspect that we would be tentative of or aware of is the fact that the couple do not like to go to hospitals or be in a hospital for an extended period of time, and so we would seek out other ways to provide care for them, such as home health care if possible. The interview that we had with the newlywed was quite interesting, and it was actually a unique experience to be in front of these couple that have such a plethora of a cultural experience and background, and to know that they're able to assimilate and come up with their own cultural definition based on the experiences that they have gone through. And as we have gone through an interview, we realized that our preconceived ideas that the couple would not be able to identify with one single cultural background, we were justified by the end of the interview that it is true they were not able to identify to one single cultural background.